Yeah, we're here to give you a little slideshow presentation of our trip out west last fall. All started half a dozen years ago. Had a friend in Braintree that I lived there before my life in Bourne, and he's a train buff as well as myself, and he said, "You got to come to the Portland Model Railroad Show. It's planned in 2015. So every year, let's go. You know, you got to come. You got to come out and see it." So finally, last year in the mid-year, we decided this is the year we're going to do it, and we're gonna make it a road trip, and a road trip it was. So, we traveled out to the train show in Portland, Oregon, and did a cross country, and went from there to the coast, up the coast of Oregon, to the coast of Washington, the National Park, Olympic National Park in Washington, up onto over to Whidbey Island in Oak Harbor, and we visited an area where my brother here used to was a Navy seaman there back in
Don't tell the team. Okay, I'll embarrass him.
So from there we went up to British Columbia, to Fraser River Valley, Thompson River Valley, Jasper, Washington, Columbia Ice Fields, Banff, and back down into the States, and back towards home again. So with that, I'll start the slideshow.
We didn't have, we're accountants and we've been busy. We didn't have any time other than to kind of put some blurb notes together. And so we just want you to enjoy the pictures, and we'll kind of point out where the pictures were taken, but not every picture. If you have a question where it is, just shout out. Pretty informal here. And word of advice, if you're thinking of a relationship or thinking of getting married, you should really go away with that person in a box for a couple of months. And if you come back together, it's good.
And these are our pictures. They're not, they're not frameable photographs. They're pictures.
And they're not completely in order. Somehow or other, when I tried to put them in order by date, we had taken pictures with 2 different cameras. So we're a little messed up. Part of the beginning of the trip is at the end of this show. But
there's more than a few of them through the windshield. Did you see that?
Yeah. So here we go.
So enjoy.
So there's the bison. And we take a lot of wildlife, so hopefully you like animals.
Yeah, they're pretty common out there. They were big and fast, and not awful bright. I don't know.
Yeah, that's questionable.
Big and fast, though.
But it's amazing how fast they go, because you think their little legs are going to break, but they're pretty fast. I don't know what kind of deer these are, but or
white-tailed gunman.
they're really beautiful though. We've got a couple of close-ups on these guys.
White-tailed.
And where was this?
This was in Custer?
This is in Custer Park up in, not too far from Rushmore, near
South
Canaan
Dakota?
Woods.
We saw a lot of wildlife there.
Word of explanation, we didn't take too many pictures on the way out because of all the smoke, and
There were wildfires up on the west.
lots of wildfires out west, and you had smoke from the mid part of the country.
Little prairie dogs.
So these are all Custer Park. Prairie dogs are just,
These guys are really friendly with people. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people feed them, and they come a little close to you. So I think you see remnants of dead ones on the road a lot. Unfortunately, they're as cute as anything. Although some people
they're varmints.
think they're problems, yeah.
Buffalo is fascinating, or bison, American buffalo.
This guy was right in front of our car when we were driving through the park. Yeah, he wasn't going to move either.
No, they take their sweet time. There's no rushing a bison.
We drove all this way. How many miles?
Yeah, well, probably about 3,000, 2,500.
And we couldn't see Rushmore. It was totally far over. Yeah, totally. So we took a couple of pictures. That's the Massachusetts flag. They have these flags for every state when they join the union. And I took a picture of this when Massachusetts was admitted. And then we decided to get ice cream because it was foggy.
That's always a good reason.
And we hung around for about an hour or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it started to lift.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that's good.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
We got some good shots.
Question for you, how impressive is that when you're
Wow.
actually there? Like,
It's pretty impressive. It's quite a work of art. The eyes are piercing if you get a good view.
Yeah, the eyes are pretty cool.
Oh,
They're like a
my
silver
God.
in the middle of the eye, and it's really impressive to see it up close.
I thought it would, like, I wasn't as impressed as I thought it would be. Like, I was much more impressed by like the Lincoln Memorial, but it still was pretty neat to see. And my husband's a trained, he says enthusiast, but that's not really true, he's a nut. And so we always have to see trains and cars, so you're gonna see a lot of pictures of trains and cars on the slideshow as well.
At
Because we go to
Rushmore,
every museum we can find.
at Rushmore, you have a train that goes up the road a piece. And this is a train actually, this is in Portland, Oregon.
The tree fell.
There's a little excursion train that goes south along the Willamette River there, and the tree happened to fall on it.
Yeah, and so we had to wait for a while the guys got off the train and cut it up and moved it.
They're gonna come in a truck and saw it down. There's a bike path beside the.
Yeah, and this was just a cool building we saw with a mural on the way to on this excursions train ride.
We take more than a few pictures there. What did we
Totally
take-
unrelated, we
what did
can't
take
remember
that
what they
for?
are. Yeah.
What did we take that for?
This is, the garden is, not the Japanese garden, but,
There's a guy beside the tracks there.
this one, no, I think this is the garden in Portland. It's a huge museum that has like,
Yeah.
yeah, the tea rose garden. But it just took some, it poured. We went back to the car, had a sandwich, went out, poured, went back to the car. Finally got some shots of just some pretty roses.
Yeah, gorgeous rose garden.
Just gorgeous,
Oh, yeah.
if you love roses. Have you been there?
Yeah.
Yeah, just really nice.
Yeah, pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. See, they kind of drooping over because of the rain and stuff.
Oh, rose and a thorn.
Yeah, they. I couldn't say anything. Cows on the side. I have no idea what this picture is. I was looking at it today when I was going through, I'm like, what the hell is that?
I actually took the picture because I wanted to see what was on the building thing there. And it was some kind of sewage treatment.
This is over Washington, isn't it? Going up the
Yeah.
coast, the beginning of the coast, right up.
Oh,
Yeah, we stayed along the Columbia River, but I don't know, we don't have pictures of that.
You'll see it.
Oh, you will.
It's just a little out of the way.
This is up in Tillamook on the coast, on the Oregon coast. There's a train right up there, and kind of a scenic ride.
There we are, a happy couple. We're still smiling.
I don't know about that
Train guy.
Have they got any caboose there, Neil?
They have a train.
They're trying to-
There's a train.
Yeah, this is just looking out to the sea. This is a fishing
This is just
train.
a cow train, I kind of liked it, it says Tillamook Bay on it.
Yeah.
I had to have that for the, and it's it's rainy and foggy in Washington.
Yeah, this is about as good as it gets. Rain,
Yeah.
rain and fog
Rainy and
and
foggy.
Really?
rough water.
What time, it was it
This
fall?
was probably, this was late August.
Late August.
Late August, okay.
But I'll tell you, you don't know the smell of pine until you go to that northwest corner. It's just so intense, it's incredible. It's like you don't know the color green until you go to Ireland. It's just really intense, the smell of pine there, and that tall trees. And we had a lot of discussions about these, herring, egrets, white heron, pre-herons, what is this? And we never can tell the difference. I know it's a bird or something. It's a real heron.
This is a flight we stayed along,
Yeah, we just camped here.
and this is the world's tallest
No.
citrus spruce, no?
This is right in that area. You'll see it in a
Okay.
minute.
Yeah.
We were walking through the woods to get to that tallest sickest spruce or whatever. There's a lot on the way. And just a random cool spider web.
I love it.
If I'm going too fast, I can go back if someone wants to see a picture.
Of the world's.
We didn't know this world's record sickness spruce was here until we saw a sign. We stopped.
One of the nice things about
There it is.
driving.
And that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the nice things about driving, you see things along the side of the road and you can stop and,
We don't plan ahead,
Right.
so, you know, we just kind of wing it. It's almost as neat as being next to the sequoia trees, you know? Being in the Jolly Green Giant Forest or something. And we always take pictures with these storage ones. Yeah.
the boys arguing about, this was 250 feet tall, that was 150 feet.
Is this in Washington?
Yes,
In Washington, yes.
yeah. And here we are, Olympic National Park.
State of Washington.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the south, I think it's the south of the park.
beautiful.
It's actually a state park, that's it, I believe.
This was we took a trip, someone told us, I don't know if it was a ranger or not, it's just a quick couple mile road. You can go around this body of water. Well, it took us like 2 hours and it was like 28 miles or something, it was crazy. And I never see phone booths, so I had to have this picture. I'm like, go pretend you're on the phone.
On that previous one, we had the camper, so
It was a little rocky.
the road got a little narrow, and it got a lot narrower than that. And fortunately, we didn't meet anybody, so
Yeah, that was good.
we were the only folks that were.
The coast, the west coast. Yeah.
Did you get, or will we see where the Columbia
Yeah.
meets the ocean?
No, we did not take a picture of that.
Okay.
That's pretty kind of spectacular.
That's our next lecture.
That's pretty,
We went to those sold out hot springs up there.
Yeah, up on the northern part of the park, there's some hot springs. So
Oh, nice.
this is Lake Crescent Lake.
Crescent Lake.
Oh.
Yeah, quite a double rainbow.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is rainy and stuff out there. The sun seems to come up at 10 o'clock and go down at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it never dries.
It rains in between, but for a minute you get blue sky. This is actually shaped like a crescent if you look at it on the map. There's the rainbow again.
Beautiful.
This is the campground. It was very rustic.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have had a campground there.
Yeah, but we did anyways. We've gone more than a few
This was
places.
kind of neat. You can't see them, but this was the first time I ever saw really salmon actually swimming upstream.
Oh.
It was pretty
Salmon.
salmon.
Yeah, they seem to swim on an odd cycle. I don't know.
This is the town up there. What's the name of that town?
Is this Port Angeles? Oh, Port Angeles.
Port Angeles. And this is the ferry. We're getting on the ferry to go to Whidbey Island. And there's the rig. It's not too dirty yet. The caravan.
That's more.
That's on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are going to Whidbey.
Yeah, you got a camper, you're either first or last on the boat.
Yeah, they always wait for us for last.
Yeah, pretty country.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
And this
would be
beside the
island,
Whidbey.
it takes you to Oak Harbor and big military installation up there and big during World War II.
And this is the GPS map on, that's holding on, it's on my lap or his lap. Shows the little route that we're going.
And this is the Salisbury Sound, this is the boat.
Is that the boat you were on, Bill?
Yeah, that's for sure.
We got this picture for Bill because he was
Seaplane
stationed
tender.
there.
It was probably the last seaplane tender ever, and they closed the place down and put this up on the North Falls for a while.
Seaplane.
The sea.
What's a seaplane?
It's a ship designed to tent and it needs a
They actually use them
Yeah.
very, very much during World War II.
It's a view of the base up there. These are pictures that I took in the museum. And that's a BP
BPY.
fly or something, one of those bomber flyers or whatever.
It's a reconnaissance boat.
And this is Deception Pass, an old picture of it.
Yeah, that's, we kayaked out there.
We almost
on the bridge.
actually wouldn't be here. We were lucky to survive, but we made the mistake of not realizing that it was really deceiving. It's a really bad area to go kayaking in. This was a simulation at the museum. Neil wanted to do it. And that's the BPY they have on the property at the museum.
And that was Neil's first car.
Was it really?
Well, sort of, actually, yeah.
No, you said that.
No, that's a sign for the Naval Air Station. And that's what it looks like from the GPS. I was kind of amazed, I didn't realize there was such a big naval air station there.
Yeah, and it's still an active
And
one.
that's a view from Deception Pass Bridge,
And we were out there.
which in a motorboat is probably good. So it's very bad. And this is a bird. This was there.
Deception pass,
And it tells you, I don't know if we can read it quick enough, we can go back.
Named by George Vancouver, because he was deceived as to the,
You wanna go back?
you know, how deep the pass was and how much of a flood it would have been, so we named it.
Incredible currents.
Very strong current under the bridge.
Wow.
There's actually 2 bridges there. So, pretty spectacular bridge.
And we were kayaking out there. We decided we'd stay there, we didn't plan to, we just happened to see a state park, and we said, oh, let's stay. And it was looking pretty calm,
Yeah, nice and calm there, you know, great place to kayak, you know, have a great
And-
time.
and then we decided we'd take pictures of the bridge.
Oh.
And between this shot and these shots,
Oh.
we got totally sucked into the current going under that bridge.
Oh.
And could not, it was a big panic. And we weren't making any headway. We had to tack over to the other side of the shore and get help. And
Oh, really?
this is in Canada.
Yeah, this is up
Thompson
up in the Thompson River Valley.
Did you have your passport?
Yeah.
There's train routes on both sides of the river here, and the trains are going all the time.
All day we watched the trains.
Oh, nice.
And you hear the trains all day and night.
I just thought that was, I don't know, cool, the blue.
Yeah.
Outline.
A little bit of smoke there. The river is low, it's late summer, so,
I think this guy was fishing, or he had, I don't know what kind of fishing he was doing. He was pulling up nets and
there's
stuff.
where, you know, fishing nets there and stuff like that.
Oh.
So
It has nothing to do with national parks or anything, but this is a maritime thing, right? Lecture.
Yes, it is.
So we can get some boat pictures. The trains, again.
Yeah. Yeah, Canadian National is on one side, Canadian Pacific is on the other side. There's a number of tunnels through the mountains here.
That's just, it said Boston Bar, so I thought that was cool. Oh, there's a Boston Bar up here. So up here. Yeah.
If anybody watches Weather Channel Sunday nights, Highway to Hell, we were close to it here.
Yeah, this is next to the Coquihalla Highway.
Yeah. So, nice place here. but,
That's the campground we
winter
stayed
time,
at next to the
that's
Thompson
okay.
River. Am I going too fast or too slow?
No.
There's tons of these little tunnels just right through the side of the mountain. On the road again, just a view of the Thompson River.
Yeah, the road goes up and down, so some places you're kind of high, some places you're on the river.
What is the name of the river again?
Thompson?
Thompson.
Thompson.
And it's very green, like aquatic, like from a glacier green blue. But, and I kept trying to catch the color, you know, but it was,
Yeah.
you'll see other pictures later.
There's a train
The
over
wrap, yeah, see the train? Wow. That's what you have to do, you have to go, ooh, look at that train, honey.
there. Go on for trash. So the landscape changed a little bit. It actually looks like it gets a little drier here. It's much more,
And there's the train curving around, which is kind of really cool.
Wow.
This is going up towards the Canadian Rockies, right?
yeah, it's up in mid British Columbia.
Yeah.
Probably a third of the way up.
Yeah. Section that gets a little arid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really dry in this area, it's surprising. And this looked a little weird. to me.
I think you're kind of on the
Where we
east side
going?
of the Canadian Rockies, so it's a lot drier on the east side. The
Right,
water and
yeah.
stuff is on the west side.
Not many people living out here. It's not the Mecca, for sure. It's the Gold Rush Trail, yeah.
Yeah.
I do know the route, I can't remember the route number.
Yeah, these places had lots of mining activity during various parts, turn of the century.
It's raining. I don't know what, we're at Jasper, I think, at this point.
We try to take pictures of when you're going into a park, when you
Try to
go
grab it.
into a province or a state, and out of a province or a state. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's Rainus. Jasper. Really, really neat town.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, there it is. It's such a
Oh,
beautiful
is
town.
that pretty? Oh, is that pretty?
It's gorgeous. And trains.
Isn't Jasper a railhead?
Yes, it is, yeah, it's a pretty good sized railhead.
Right.
And it's in Alberta, Jasper.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, just over the line.
How many miles up from the coast? It's pretty far up.
Well, Vancouver is 530 kilometers, so it's about 350 miles or something like that from the coast of Vancouver. Neat station there.
Yeah.
Neil probably took this picture.
I can tell you,
What's it about?
Yeah, I have no
I can tell you a
idea.
story about when these pictures were taken, but that'll be for
Yeah,
another
that's
second.
another picture.
A lot of places out west preserve old steam engines. Town
A
decoration.
lot of these pictures are gonna look like duplicates, because we're going crazy. It was just so beautiful, you couldn't stop. You couldn't control. They were just so beautiful. Every shot, every way you look, it was like spectacular.
Postcards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very breathtaking. And I'm sure if you're a really good photographer, you could probably really get some gorgeous shots. But
Look at that.
Now, is
That's
that
nice.
the River too?
I think this is the,
this is in Jasper.
this might be the Fraser River.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the Fraser
Oh,
River.
yeah.
You kind of go up the Thompson and then you head east on
Right.
Fraser into
Yeah.
Jasper.
Oh, wow.
Look, these guys are walking around the town.
Yeah, they're pretty close, they're right on the,
Like right there, wherever you go.
Majestic. Oh, my God.
Yeah. This was he had a little group.
yeah, this guy was pretty neat.
This guy had a little hammer.
They were wandering around a camp.
Yeah, and they were wandering around the campground, you'd hear them. And you couldn't
No, you
actually, you had to have a hard-sided camper. The campground that we were in.
Oh, really? Because they.
Because of the wildlife and the bears, they wouldn't let you stay in this particular park. If you had anything that was open, like
Like a tent?
a tent or like, you know, the,
Oh, really?
Pop-up.
the pop-up,
Yeah.
they wouldn't let you stay there.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Safety, for safety.
And this was just somewhere around the town, just wondering. And I was like, that's a really cool house. It's not a house. It's an observation tower. Yeah, there was something. I'm like, they're rich, they must go up a plane or something. So stupid. Just beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. This is around the glaciers. This is a walkway you can go out on. I wouldn't do that.
Observation deck, yeah, this, glass bottom, I think. Similar, I think it's similar to one in
Right.
Grand Canyon, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is just driving to go to the ice field.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There's the glacier that you're gonna drive up on. They actually drive up, you can go on a little excursion on one of these huge,
Right.
I don't know what you call it, what would you call
It's
it?
a Tundra bus or something
Tundra
like that.
bus. And they go right up on the glacier.
They go.
Is that the Avalon?
Columbia Ice Fields.
These are called the
Okay,
plungers.
okay.
And this is Neil making a phone call, trying to get a reservation for a campground window. There's the,
There's the bus you go on, so.
yeah, and that looks small, like if you're standing next to it, the tire is probably close to you. I don't know, close to your shoulder. And these are really weird pictures, Neil probably took these too.
They go up some pretty,
Inside the bus.
they go up some pretty steep grades.
Yeah, and we're up there
It's
now.
cold.
Oh, so you can get out.
And it's cold, yeah, it's cold.
Oh, yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can walk on the glacier, which,
Oh, my.
Imagine that, they can walk on.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
What's this picture?
They're melting and receding constantly, so,
Oh, my word. What time of year was this?
late August.
like, I was thinking in September maybe,
Yeah, probably mid-September.
Oh, mid-September.
there's higher. The seat the guy sits.
The guy.
Like I said, we didn't have much time to sort these out.
I like to check out the instruments and stuff like that, so you can blow these pictures up and see.
That's just from the window of the little bus there. Wow. And this is a three-dimensional model that they have in the like visitor center there that shows the ice field at different periods of its, you know, melting away, different eras. More wildlife.
Yeah, there's wildlife along the side of the road.
What are they?
Some kind of sheep. Mountain sheep or mountain goats or something, I'm not sure.
This is a waterfall all the way to that
Isn't it something,
ice field. See the green and the,
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, it was just like incredible to look at. Let's just take a break.
Oh,
It is beautiful, huh?
It's
It's beautiful.
Oh,
Now, you're in Canada now.
Yeah,
Yeah, still like it.
we're,
I think the Canadians do a fantastic job with
They
their
do.
parks.
that was a bed and breakfast or a lodge or something, and it was just a cool truck in front,
Yeah.
wrong way. Just a really beautiful place.
oh,
Nice reflections.
Train,
Have a train.
Yeah,
this is a sign.
yeah, there's various rides you can take out.
And I really wanted to see a bear.
oh.
I kept looking for bear. This is,
It's a little lake up up just north of Jasper.
north of Jasper.
We took like a 10-mile ride in the evening.
We just stopped the car because we saw this little, huge fish or whatever you want to call it, I don't even
It's
call
a
it.
crevice in the ground. It goes down probably 100 feet.
Dropped like,
Right,
Oh,
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right straight down almost.
maybe there's a close-up of the green.
Yeah.
There's various little waterfalls where you go, and there's walkways out to them and stuff like that, so you can stop, run, take a picture.
There's that mark, yeah.
No.
Yeah, this is some more near the glacier, Columbia Ice Field.
This might be when we're leaving this area. That's that lodge. There we are again. We were stopping because the brakes were like getting really hot. We had to stop and give the brakes a break. So we stopped here and just took pictures.
It's a great picture.
That's beautiful.
It's intense, it's like unbelievable, the color of it. I took a million pictures, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is Lake Louise.
Did you get up to the little coffee shop?
We didn't, no.
Yeah.
We went to the door of it, but
And that's that famous hotel that only costs
A lot of money.
$680 a night or something ridiculous. And I'm like, well, why don't we stay there a night? We'll just take a break from the camper.
we're staying in a $30 a
It
night
didn't
campsite.
happen. This is just walking up to Lake Louise.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have been here. It's smaller than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Did you think that too, Mike?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was gonna be more.
But if you walked along the left and right side edge, there's a little coffee shop way in the back there, almost by the,
The glacier there?
yeah,
Oh, so it's a lot of miles in.
yeah, it's a good walk.
Yeah, that's a close-up of the glacier
Yeah.
that feeds it.
Oh.
So now where is this
It is a
exactly?
pretty spot.
Where's Lake Louise?
Lake Louise is in southern Alberta.
Yeah,
It's in Alberta.
Yeah.
trains.
Those are grain cars. You go to Vancouver.
This is Banff, I think.
This is Vancouver.
I love that.
Banff, I would like to stay there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long drive to go back, but we didn't really get a chance to stay in this area really long. No idea what that is. Some science weird lab thing.
It's like a UFO.
Now we're in farm country. I think this was almost evening time. We needed a place to stay. We were right at the border with Canada and Montana.
This
is
particular
that
spot has been under 8 flags through its lifetime.
Yeah. Now we're at Great Falls. This is a lot of the Lewis and Clark. We tried to follow the Columbia River for quite a ways. Waldrop South Dakota,
I don't know that.
I think it is.
Okay.
Trains. Train. This is one of the Great Falls, in Great Falls, Montana.
It's like 7 of them.
Yeah.
The Indians told Lewis and Clark there were only 3.
And this is at that Lewis and Clark National Expedition. It's run by the National Park Services. It was a really, really, really nice museum.
And when was that?
It's in Great Falls, Montana. And this kind of gives you a good perspective of what it must have been like for them to do the portage and drag that, machine or canoe or whatever you want to call it.
And they had to make their own canoes.
Yeah. And it wasn't like they just floated along.
No,
I mean, they had to physically drag that through really rough brush. And,
Right.
this is, just different shots from that museum. And the Jefferson charge for the expedition. There's a bus there. We have whales around here? Yeah, they have bison. Think about the Arabella Lewis and William Clark history. And this is, I don't know what really this is. This is right behind that museum.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, and this is not National Park. This is, we just stopped because I wanted to get a cup of coffee. And apparently this town is having a competition with hay bales. Weren't they decorating them into different things? We thought they were cool.
Yeah, the whole
That's
town was
interesting.
Yeah.
They must have about 30 of them.
This is a funny rapids. This is a zoo. We went to a zoo in that area.
Yeah.
And we caught, there's my deer.
Yeah, sure.
He was in the zoo. We got him in the zoo. Yeah.
Oh,
This is still the zoo, obviously. He's beautiful.
It's a little nicer than Greenville Park.
A little.
Yeah, no, this is.
And I don't know what these, it's like red monkeys or something. Is that the red panda? Aren't they beautiful?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Red panda.
And these guys were really loud when we went there.
Take my picture.
Now we're going to Little Bighorn Battlefield. Very dry there too.
I know what it is.
Yeah. We had no plans to go here. We just did. There's the monument,
It's also a national
and they
cemetery.
have a national cemetery there right on the property where the battlefield is. Now we're leaving Montana. Wyoming. No one's on a lot of the roads we're on, I've noticed. This was, were we trying to get up to a park and we went up and up and up and around corners and
Yes.
we never found the state park.
We went about 15 miles almost straight up, so
We gave up
we gave up.
and we went to this place because it was in that little rinky-dink town. I forget the whole truck.
Good.
This is Devil's Tower. And believe it or not, this is, I don't know if you guys know about it, but this was underground, a volcano. And the land around it just eroded until this Devil's Tower showed up. And this is just landscape around the area. We had no plans to camp here, but it was only $7 or $5, so. Here we are again, $30. We get to scream all night.
There were people climbing that.
Yeah, I have shots in here, I think, of the guys climbing. This tells you about how it was a volcano and ash and stuff. Really interesting thing. But it's all flat around there, and you just come up, and there's this thing that's sticking out.
Yeah.
These were the guys that would climb it. And I don't know how they do it, because, like, where do they grab onto?
They stick their stuff in the crevices and stuff. There were people up there at night.
And there's our campsite, it's right, we were just staring at Devil's Tower the whole time.
perfect location.
Those are that's
Very
dog-
prairie dog town.
Wow.
They're the condos. They pop up this.
Prairie dog holes
It's like whack.
painted into the ground.
This is Deadwood.
That's neighbor town.
Yeah,
That's where it is.
it's like an old western town. It looks like you're in a, oh, I don't know. I clearly did not want to do this probably, so because I got sucked into that probably, right?
Yeah, lots of airplanes there, very neat airplanes. Some of the old planes that flew in the late
Yeah,
1980s.
this is an interesting place. The terrain, have you been there at all, Mike, right now?
No.
The terrain changes like from this to, just that to, it's green and then all of a sudden it'll be all dry and, nothing but this weird wind formed shapes.
These are great pictures.
Oh, thanks. This is sunset. We stayed there unexpectedly. It was just getting late and we said, oh, we better stay somewhere. And this was at sunset and every picture was like, a few minutes goes by and the lighting just changed everything. See, this is the same park, it's so. Oh, and this is a cool Impala.
There's a Pioneer Auto Museum, I think, in Greer, South Dakota. It's, they got everything you ever want to see there, all kinds of antiques from the planes.
I think these are sunflower farm.
Sunflower.
Yeah,
farm.
sunflower.
Oh, my.
Miles and miles of them.
Wow. So beautiful.
And this is Corn Palace.
I never heard of such a thing.
And he told me,
Palace.
we have to go here. We have to. And I thought it was gonna be a palace,
Oh.
but it's not.
What is it?
It's an arena.
It's a marina in Mitchell, South Dakota that they built, and they decorate it every year with the fresh
Murals of
bunches of corn.
And they have particular farmers they use, and they grow the old, non-hybrid kind of.
Yeah,
Oh, the flint.
Yes, the red, all different colors, and they only use that specific space to grow that corn for this specific corn palace.
Wow.
Yeah.
And look at Neil.
And Neil's at home. And here's an old picture of the place. They have kind of that Russian style.
Oh, my goodness.
But it's really just like a basketball court or really. It's not really a palace. It's very clear.
Someone was disappointed.
I was very disappointed. And these little corn husks and ears are on like all the lampposts and stuff. Yeah. Minnesota.
This is the National Railroad Museum in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's the, it's an old streamliner train that they had, a turbo train.
And this is probably very interesting. To him. Whatever it might be.
And,
Quick add water.
what was that?
This is the Dwight Eisenhower.
They brought that over to England a few years ago.
That was huge.
For a celebration and
Oh, really?
brought it back, yes.
Yeah.
This is a racing car. It's something that I'd like to see built here, but I don't know whether that will happen.
That's his dream.
France gave 49 of these to each of the states, filled with goods and stuff in 1949 and 50. And most of the states still have their train, but guess who doesn't have a train?
Massachusetts doesn't have a train?
No.
Wow.
And it's something that, with a lot of work, we could possibly recreate it.
Wow.
It's a Pullman car. And we were just driving by the Packers. We just took a picture. And here we come to Michigan.
This is
And
Lake Superior.
Oh.
this is Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore.
Something like that, or state park or something like that.
And I saw this on like 60 Minutes or Chronicle. And I said, if we're going up there, we need to drive up here because it's really gonna be beautiful. And we took a boat excursion and it was really beautiful. It's the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it's the very upper section,
Right along Superior.
right along Superior.
And that's natural formation?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So spectacular.
You can see the reds from the iron ore.
Yeah.
That's, no paint there, no graffiti there.
It's all natural, yeah.
Huh.
Nature's graffiti.
I took a lot of these, so I won't go too slow on these. And it's, I don't know, an hour ride out.
Yeah, a couple hour boat ride, 2.5 hour boat ride, I think.
Just all
Oh,
there.
look at that.
Yeah. It's hard to imagine this is a lake. It's so enormous. Just really, really beautiful. I think he took the boat into that little cove. Yeah, he kept saying, you wanna go in, you wanna go in? Then you got really, really close. So it was a really neat kind of thing to do. And there's a tree. And I think I have a sign here. Listen, like, how is that tree growing?
Oh, right on the top of it.
Yeah, right on the top of this branch.
That's interesting.
Do you see it right on top of the branch?
That's where you come out, right?
Right there.
Yeah, and oh, that's the, horseshoe, no,
That's a waterfall from
I
there.
forget the name of it, but Spray Waterfalls,
Yeah, something like
the
that.
boat goes out to. This is coming back. I couldn't stop taking pictures. He couldn't either. This is just a lighthouse. I forget the name of it, but I think it's a small association that owns it, a small group of people,
Yeah,
and they maintain it.
Is it wooden?
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not a working one or anything, I don't think. It's
Well,
just-
I think it works, but I'll think on it. It's not.
But
you know,
they,
it's
people
not
wanted to
dramatic.
save it and keep it, and so they've been maintaining it. A bunch of people got together and put some money together and just maintain that little lighthouse. And that's the boat we went on.
Quite a few lighthouses on
This is the, where we stayed in the camper. We were just, feet from the lake. This is going into Canada. We went to Sault Ste. Marie,
Yeah.
where the Sioux locks are.
Mhm.
C&D Savage.
Oh, yeah, right there.
There's a warship there waiting to go into the locks.
We stayed there for quite a while to watch the whole, process. And, you can't get right up to the locks like you used to be able to, it's all like fenced off now. But they have an observation tower. And then, this is coming back to Mackinac Point Lighthouse from the Upper Peninsula. It's the bridge. What is that? Beth, what's the name? Is it Mackinac or Mackinac Island?
It's Mackinac.
Mackinac.
Mackinac Island.
There it is.
There's no cars up there, not many.
No cars, yeah.
This is the Ford Museum. And he told me we were gonna go to the Ford Museum. And I said, is it gonna be just like an hour? And he said, oh no, the whole day probably. Honestly, we were there for like 4 or 5 hours. And it was a really interesting museum.
Nice.
This is one of the cars they let you get
They
into.
let, I was gonna say, they let you.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Neil, is this the car you're
Yeah.
associated with your uncle,
Yeah,
Bill, Angus?
my uncle was guiding this at one time when it came to Boston with Eisenhower.
The bubble top.
Mm.
Just some historic cars. You've got Teddy Roosevelt or something.
Yeah, lots of interesting cars from various eras,
Mhm.
not necessarily Ford cars.
We also went to the production assembly factory where they were making an F-150 at the time, which was kind of fun to watch. This is the complex area, the museum. Train.
This is another train museum.
And I think that's it.
That's a great
That was a
show.
moon shot that I got, I think. for-
Yeah.
This might be a little bit of Idaho. This is the out of water stuff. This is a cool sunset. I couldn't stop taking pictures in this area. And it just gets like so spectacular, the sunset. The whole sky was just like, and we would drive along the highway. I was taking these shots from the window.
Look at that.
I think the smoke kind of contributed to the sunset.
Farms. Pretty close to the end. Neil's talking on the phone.
Hi, this is.
Oh, Buffalo Bill. We came across this by mistake too. This is the Buffalo Bill Museum.
That is antique archaeology. You've watched what's the?
American Pickers?
American Pickers.
Oh,
We stopped to make a sandwich.
This is ground zero.
And we found out about it. And this is their shop. And there's the end.
oh
So is
my
that in
goodness.
Iowa?
Yeah, this is an Iowa down.
Yeah. This was at the beginning of our trip.
Yeah, this is the Golden Spike Tower in Nebraska.
They have
This
like,
is probably the largest railroad yard in the world, I think. It's pretty big anyways.
he used to work for the post office.
This is the largest.
And that was my shot because I had a Dodge Dart. That was my first.
We did 9,600
It was
miles.
a lot of driving.
9,600.
9,600.
Yeah, it was a lot of driving.
Oh, wow.
Did you have
That's
any
fantastic.
problem with gas in those remote areas?
You make darn sure you have enough.
Yeah, as soon as you say
Yeah,
yes, you
yeah,
just keep
yeah,
filling up.
yeah.
We didn't have any problem, but don't run it down.
We did have a couple of blowouts.
No, we didn't have
No,
blowouts,
that was the
no.
Florida.
Flat tires.
Flat tires. I can change a flat in 12 minutes now. Getting good at it.
How long were you gone for?
From mid-August to towards the end of October, about the last week in October.
Not long enough though, honestly. There's just so much to see in this country.
That's
Incredible.
amazing. Stayers.
You like, it's just that, we had planned on going from Portland down into like the southern part because we figured we were getting close to the colder weather. We should probably do like Arizona and Texas and I was talking to Bill on the phone because Bill had been up in Whidbey Island and I said, should we just go south or should we go up to Lake Louise? He was like, oh, that's not even, like, don't even ask, you know, just go up to Lake Louise, don't be crazy, he drove that far. And it was well worth it.
Like,
You should do the south this year.
yeah.